right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to The Thoughtful Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Jen Amos. And today I have with me Charles Gerth, who is the CEO of Science4Data. That's science, the number 4 data. And his website is science4data.com, which again, it's science, the number 4 data.com. Charles, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought I'd ask because it's 2021 now. I'm curious to know if we feel any different than 2020.
I think that I feel pretty good. I felt pretty good in 2020. I mean, with
Good.
a very interesting situation going on in the world, but it doesn't mean that you can't continue to move forward and live by your values and make good things happen. So.
Yeah, I love that attitude. I think someone had phrased it to me like, entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and 2020, COVID was just another problem. And I was like, I like it when you look at it that way because, like mainstream media and like everything else will make it like the biggest issue in the world, but it's still a problem that you can work through and, or around, and you can still find a way to live on with your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, everyone's healthy and business is doing well and, we're pulling forward. So
Awesome. That's
we're
fantastic.
optimistic. Yep.
Love it. Love it. Well, let's go ahead and talk about your company since you're sharing that business has been awesome for you. Your company, again, is Science4Data. Tell us, for people that are hearing about your company for the first time, like what are you about and who do you love to serve?
Yeah, sure. So we basically have created an AI engine that specializes in analyzing text, news media, social media, and we currently are delivering platforms and solutions to the PR industry.
Mm-hmm.
So with our approach of really analyzing data, we've been able to solve some pretty significant pain points in that industry, and we've come up with a platform and tooling and dashboards that quickly deliver insights that allow them to see trends that they're unable to see with the current kind of set of tools that are in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you mentioned that, this platform solution that you created really solves some of the major pain points of the PR agency. Can you list a couple of examples? Like what are some of those pain points that,
Sure.
the PR agency or PR industry tends to struggle with?
Yeah, so one, I mean, everyone is really concerned with what I'll call noisy data,
Mm.
where they may believe that they're getting, hundreds of stories around a topic, but when they go through and take a look at that source data, there's really only 50 or 30 or 40 that are relevant.
Mm.
With our platform and kind of the fact that we've built it AI to the core, we can provide all sorts of filters so they can really see the data, and we deliver really clean source data into our engine. Can't underestimate how important, really clean data is in a platform. That's one
Mm-hmm.
area. The other is because we're doing, very rich machine learning and analysis, we're able to pick trends out of topics. PR agents always have to know kind of what are they going to pitch next to their clients. And we're able to really surface insights on trends that, may show that this is going to be the next big thing. And it hasn't happened yet, but it's starting to really trend up in the media. And because we kind of are analyzing, in many cases, thousands of articles, we're able to pick that out of the set of articles there and really present that in an easy to digest way
Yeah.
to those PR firms.
Yeah, I think that's really incredible. So Charles, I know that you started your company just about 3 years ago. So
I did, yeah.
tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to starting Science4Data.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I've spent most of my career in, management positions and generally mid-size technology and services firms, and always focused on innovation around data.
Mm-hmm.
Had a bunch of, pretty successful experiences. I always wanted to do a product company, always wanted to do a SaaS company. And
Mm-hmm.
so 3 years ago, one of my, former clients, we were talking, and I had noticed that with a lot of our big corporate clients, they were paying extensive amounts of money to try to do big data. And, if you look at Google or Facebook or Twitter or Amazon, they figured out how to really take big data and really drive insights that they can win in the market. We all see
Mm-hmm.
that happening, but in a lot of other industries, they're spending significant amount of money to try to figure that out and not really getting the business value. So we we kind of said, hey, let's come out with a platform that will allow business people to really get insights from big data without the need to have a big army of expensive data scientists and data wranglers. And that
Mm-hmm.
was really kind of the genesis to start the company.
Mm-hmm.
And as things kind of progressed, we developed a platform that actually runs on top of Google Cloud, and we are able to take advantage of all of the great technical features from Google.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been able now to really take that and create a tool where within, a half hour, companies can analyze hundreds or thousands of news articles and see a very rich dashboard that shows, incredible insights into their business.
Yeah.
That's what we've done. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really incredible. And, I guess in your background of, working in mid-sized tech and innovating around data, it kind of just seemed like a natural direction for you to eventually create this kind of AI platform for PR industries. For people that are, maybe interested in using AI and creating platforms like this, like tell us, like, what was that process for you to be like, okay, we're going to create this, like to make PR people's lives easier?
Yeah, so it's a great question.
Mhm.
We, as an entrepreneur, I didn't always have that clean vision that I have today and that understanding. So when
Mhm.
we first came out with the platform, we really didn't just focus on PR. We had done, a fair amount of work with geopolitical risk firms and
Mm.
ETF funds and media companies and politics, and we were able to definitely surface some real valuable insights. However, when we decided to really focus on one industry, which happens to be PR, and go deep, we
Mhm.
started to see very common challenges with customers as we got closer to those customers. And if we solved those problems or could do things with that technology that worked for this customer, well, a lot of the other customers in that segment had the exact same pain points. So
Mhm.
there was definitely real synergies of really focusing on one niche and really understanding their pain points, and then delivering tools and solutions to really address those pain points as well as give them insights that they just simply don't have today.
Mhm. Yeah. Give me kind of like maybe a case study. Like share with me, maybe you don't have to mention names, like a PR industry where they were able to use your platform and were very, let's say, surprised at the trend they found in maybe doing a search of a particular topic.
Yeah, sure. So, and I want to be cautious that I don't give away any client names, but yeah, so we typically, what we have, a part of our solution that we call horizon scanning or topic mapping. And
Mm.
if you look at most of the platforms that are in the industry today, they'll show you share of voice, they'll show you density. What we do
Mhm.
though is we actually, because we have a full engine, we go and we basically expose all of the people, all of the places, all of the organizations across that entire set of news.
Mhm.
And then what we're able to do is we're able to look at that and say, maybe this individual or this company that's coming into a space is starting to trend up. They may not be the biggest player, but when
Mhm.
we do an analysis over the last 3 weeks, we can say, oh, look at that. This has popped up into the news now,
Mm.
and is significant. And people see that, and it allows them to really identify trends that they can then use as stories with their corporate clients. So,
Mhm.
so PR firms typically, what are they going to pitch next, right? What is the next big thing? And if you can see the trends in the marketplace that your competitors don't know about, but we've been
Mhm.
able to share with you or kind of highlight, they can then take that, go to their corporate clients and say, hey, did you know that this is actually trending? And we believe this is going to be a pretty big story. They've got the
Mhm.
measurements, the metrics. So it's really two things. That one, it shows them what is trending, what is going to get hot, right?
Yeah.
Or just the
Yeah.
opposite, what's going the other way, right? So maybe you
Right.
think something's still a story, but the media's lost interest in it. So
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of looking into like a magical, like one of those crystal balls. It's like, okay, what's the next thing, or what's the, big next thing? And I love how you created this platform where people can see in numbers, like what are the latest trends? What can you talk about? Or what's like you said, what is going on the wayside? What's not as popular that you shouldn't talk about anymore?
yeah, we that's definitely true. The other thing that we've done is that when we bring in media, we classify all of the sources of the media. We
Mm.
know who the journalists are that wrote those articles. So in addition to just identifying what's hot, we can very quickly say, not only this is this hot, but here's the 20 journalists that have written articles about this over the last 2 weeks. If
Mm.
you want to get picked up in that story, these are the people you want to talk to, as opposed to, trying to find a journalist database and, well, this guy is cataloged 3 years ago because he was interested in this topic. These are people that are now writing about this today.
Yeah.
So we can really help them then extend and get that story out.
Yeah, no, very fascinating.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned earlier, Charles, as I pointed out, Science for Data has been around for 3 years now, and a third of that was during COVID, during 2020. So I'm curious to know, when everything started to, when stuff started to hit the fan, did that impact your business in any way, in a positive, negative way? Like, I'm just curious to know, like, how did that impact your business?
So it absolutely impacted our business.
Hmm.
We literally came out with the first version of our modern platform in January
Oh, wow.
of 2020.
Uh-huh.
And we had a number of pretty big deals that were lined up with
Mm.
firms that basically, when COVID first hit, they were advisory firms. And
Mm.
they basically said, look, we're really sorry, but we need to pick this back up in June. And as I looked at the pandemic, I'm like, they're not coming back in June, right?
Right,
So,
right.
so for a while, we're like, okay, what are we going to do? We probably need to pivot in some way.
Mm.
We saw a lot of people jumping into healthcare, and we decided not to do that.
Mm.
What we did do is when COVID first hit, we decided that, hey, we've got really innovative technology.
Mm.
Although we want to sell it as a SaaS platform, there's companies that are interested in the core technology.
Mhm.
So from a financial standpoint, we were able to take our tool and work with some other people that were doing innovative things, and they basically built our product into their solutions. The other thing that I think it really forced us to do was to really do a deep dive into what is the product we're going to bring to market, and
Mhm.
really, instead of trying to sell to 5 or 6 different verticals and areas, really focus on PR. And once we made that decision
Mhm.
and really went after that niche with our capability, things really turned around for us.
Mhm.
But it's been tough. I mean, I will say, I talked to a lot of people, and there seems to be some strong areas of technology now, like cloud providers are doing great, and people
Mhm.
that are in security are doing good. And but innovation's been challenged, right? So I think
Yeah.
buyers are spending maybe less on innovation, more on just kind of tying things up.
Mhm.
So in some ways, we have to fight through that. So.
Yeah. In your journey, I am curious to know, like, in your journey so far and having to pivot and everything. And it sounds like there had been some good things that came out, obviously, like you were able to kind of have other companies build your product into their solutions, which I think is really incredible, as well as niche down to the PR industry, as we've been alluding to for the majority of this conversation. And so on your journey so far, Charles, what would you say at this point you're most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of my team.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the industry for a while, and I've been able to bring in some, really excellent people who have really worked incredibly hard, share the vision, share the dream, and
Mm-hmm.
have really decided that this is something that we can do that's fundamentally going to really enable these companies to extend their businesses. And, I think that's probably my proudest moment, is just building a team that can really deliver, incredible things, and are very
Mm-hmm.
passionate about doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. I love that. And, I imagine that, since I always say since 2020, that you were able to kind of bond and go through that experience together. And if you can kind of go through that, I feel like you can go through anything with a team.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Charles, before I kind of shift gears here, I just wanted to make sure I've covered all my bases. Is there anything else you want people to know about Science for Data?
I mean, I think just that, we definitely are, I think, very innovative. We've done some pretty, really neat things.
Hmm.
We have a platform that, we know it's world class. And,
Hmm.
while we're very focused on the PR space, and, we're not a super large company yet, right? So we have to
Hmm.
be, very selective in what we sell and market into.
Hmm.
For other entrepreneurs that are out there, if they're looking at, maybe leveraging this type of technology, we have decided that we will, in other areas, allow people to kind of embed that technology and, or bring it to market. So we have a couple of other areas where people are either white labeling what we have or taking that into those spaces. So I think that's, that's one thing, I guess, worth noting. Yeah, it's been a great journey for sure.
Yeah. And it sounds to me in a way you're looking for like collaborative opportunities in a sense. It's like, yeah, if your company can integrate our platform into your solutions, then let's talk.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We've done a few, and the opportunities are definitely there. I just realized now. It took me a while to, it's funny, you realize things and then things move in the right direction. But for our sales and marketing efforts, I mean, we really want to really focus on PR, and that's really where we're going to focus the majority of our sales, marketing, and really our efforts. But we have this platform that's, you can create a topic on politics or other things very quickly. And, other people have kind of seen that opportunity of, partnered with us too. So.
Yeah, and I imagine that because everyone is on Google nowadays and trying to actually become more versed in the news, this is really an opportune time for PR people to do what they do, and obviously for you to capitalize off of that opportunity.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, almost everyone is on Google, and what I like to say, I mean, it's one of the reasons we platformed on Google. We basically have tools that allow us or allow our users to define a topic, and the way we've gone about that definitely leverages Google, but kind of is like Google on steroids as far as getting the story. A lot of our competitors, they've gone and they've tried to pre-pull data off of the internet and then analyze that data. The problem is if they don't pull all the data, they're going to have holes in what they have. We say Google has probably the biggest, in fact, they do have the biggest index news media, social. They have it already there. We just intelligently go grab what we need to analyze. So it's fundamentally different. And, the Google cloud environment, I mean, Google, let's face it, they know how to do AI, they know how to do machine learning, and they provide a lot of APIs that we've extended and can take advantage of. So, we like to pass that knowledge, that understanding onto our customers.
Yeah, I think to me, it sounds like you're just trying to help your customers work smart more than work hard with your platform.
And at the end of the day, it's all about helping your customers remove pain or get a gain, right? And we see the existing customers are spending an exorbitant amount of time, looking at their current tooling and saying, oh, I can't give this to my client because they'll see that this data is wrong, right? And, they're spending a lot of time cleaning up data so that they can deliver it to their corporate clients and reporting or what have you. And, with our tool, literally you just go in, you say, well, I wonder what this analysis would look like if I just remove the PR space, or I take out, general news, or I remove this site or these sites. So we really have, given them the flexibility they need so that, what they can do in a couple of clicks could take a long time if you've got to go to the source and, remove data and stuff like that. So.
Wonderful. And obviously, I feel like we've only scratched the surface in what you do, Charles, but that's why people should check you out and check out your website.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
But before we go, I do have one more question I thought I'd ask. Considering that this is a show for small business owners and entrepreneurs, do you have any parting words of wisdom or advice that you want to share with our listeners here at The Thoughtful Entrepreneur?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think you better love what you do, right? You better really love it and be passionate about it. And, I'll say I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but the last 3 years, I feel like I now know what it is to be an entrepreneur. And, it's like the highs are never as high as you think they are, and the lows aren't quite as low as you think they're going to be. But, believe in it, take care of your customers, and, make things happen. So.
Yeah, wonderful. I just love how you said you better love what you do.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like that can, outlast, like you mentioned, like the ups and the downs that you may be experiencing, which you will, because that's just the life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that there aren't entrepreneurs that maybe just fall right into the perfect spot, and I'm sure that happens sometimes. But but yeah, it's a lot of work, as I'm sure most of the people on your show will tell you. And but I'll tell you what, every day I get up and I love what I do. And I know
Yeah.
my team loves it, and we're starting to make a difference in our customers' lives, which is also important. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, I love that, Charles. Like, obviously, I can tell that you love doing what you do just with everything that you shared with us today. So, again, I just want to thank you so much for your time and for joining us here on The Thoughtful Entrepreneur.
great, I really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for your time, and look forward to maybe doing another session in the future.
Yeah, you never know. You
Yeah, that'd
never
be
know.
great.
Yeah,
Okay.
awesome. And again, to our listeners, this is Charles Gerth, who is the CEO of Science4Data. You can learn more about him and his company at science4data.com, and that's science number 4 data.com. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll chat with you in the next episode. Tune in next time.